What's up, guys? This is Witt with PragerU. Today joined by two interns from the Convention Estates who actually set up the internship program through the Convention Estates. You guys want to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, so my name is Weston Boardman. I'm a junior at Hillsdale College, and I began this internship program back in December of 2017. Mark Meckler, the president of Convention Estates, hired me on, saw that I had promised the last summer as a intern, but it was more like a glorified volunteer, and I helped out with the organization, found my own way. And he said, I want an internship program that is going to not only get good work out of the interns, but we're going to reinvest in them. We want interns who are going to be CEOs, senators 10, 20 years from now, and they can look back and say that this internship was the turning point in my life. This is what started my career in politics. This is what made my success in business, because we learned about servant leadership, the history of America, and what it means to be successful, how to achieve that success.
And I'm Jack McPherson. I'm also a junior at Hillsdale College. I'm the assistant intern coordinator, and I help Weston basically do everything that he's not able to do.
Which is a lot.
And anyway, I was one of the first interns. I interned in the spring of 2018. So that was the first semester that the internship kicked off. And I got to say, everything that Weston just said that he wanted the internship to accomplish, for me, it accomplished all of those things and more. And I'm hoping that we have all our interns in the studio here with us. I'm hoping that we're able to do the same for him, and the same for them, and that we will continue to do that.
That's awesome. The first thing I got involved with politics is I was dating a girl who was a Hillary supporter. So that was my first involvement in politics. Could you guys tell us a little bit about the Convention Estates, why you guys think it's important?
So actually, as a matter of fact, both of us were interns in Washington, D.C. last semester.
Mm-hmm.
We found the Convention of States project through a good friend of ours, Lucy Meckler, the daughter of Mark Meckler, and she introduced us to the project because we felt really defeated in politics. Like, we see D.C., it's so far away. We have these discussions at Hillsdale, like, how are we going to fix the government? But discussions end at some point, and action has to take place afterwards. And being in D.C., we interned. I was a White House intern with the vice president.
I was in the Department of Justice.
And we loved the work, and it was a great experience, but just being in that city, we saw the bureaucracy and how entrenched it was. Mm-hmm. Nothing is ever going to get fixed from inside. And we love what the current administration is doing, but personally I do. And I love to see the turnover, but it's not enough.
Truly, Washington, D.C. is a swamp.
Yeah.
And another story that's important to think about when you think about the mission of the Convention Estates project is, I think of the '08 economy crash. 9 of the 10 richest counties in the world are in Washington, D.C. area. And if you talk to anybody on the street at that time, ask them about what they thought about the market crash, they would say, "Oh, that's too bad." They didn't feel a thing in Washington, D.C. Right. So you can see where all the money and the power is coming to a head, and why we're going to need regular people, the moral citizenry we know we have, to stop that from happening.
And we follow the Constitution. I just want to say this: we follow the Constitution as interpreted by the Supreme Court. Congress passes laws, the president enacts executive orders, and a lot of people are saying we don't follow our Constitution. Well, we do. The General Welfare Clause, the Interstate Commerce Clause, they've been expanded to fit a definition of government that Congress acts within. In places where the Constitution is clearly defined, such as the 16th Amendment, that's income tax, it's clearly defined. 2-term limits for the president, clearly defined. We haven't had a president since that amendment was enacted break that. When you have clearly defined amendments, you can rein in the scope and jurisdiction of the federal government.
So when talking about the swamp, and you're talking about the richest areas in D.C., how does the Convention Estates fix that problem?
So it removes the power. It sucks, essentially acts as a power vacuum and sucks the power away from there and returns it back to the states. One thing I just want to, just to continue on what Weston was saying, it'll help explain that. We are acting on behalf of our organization, but once the convention's actually called, the amendments that we want to propose are just reinforcements of the original principles. They give teeth. The Bill of Rights gave teeth or reinforced the principles that were professed in the Constitution. And that's something that is very important to think about, like the 17th Amendment, for example. People directly elect their senators, but that's not the way it was originally intended. We want to propose amendments that give credence to the original intent that the founders wrote about things. You read about Hamilton's writings, Madison's writings.
So what are some of the other amendments that you guys would propose?
Our organization
Sorry,
personally
Chris.
doesn't do it. Personally doesn't advocate for amendments, but amendments that could be discussed would be like a balanced budget amendment. There are organizations out there proposing that. We just don't think it's enough.
Term limits?
Term limits are another idea. I had an idea personally of kind of creating an amendment that gives state legislatures the ability to check their senator in Congress through a recall. So that way you don't get these senators who are so distant and have a second house. The Senate was supposed to be this
Maxine
time.
Waters.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
Right.
Maxine Waters. We don't want that to happen. We want them to be responsible to the people. And by creating amendments that limit the federal government's scope and jurisdiction, you allow the state governments to rise up, take back the power that the founders intended, and allow people to govern themselves as they see fit.
Yeah. Well, that's great, and I think you guys are doing amazing work. Thank you so much for
Thank you
being
very
here,
much. This
guys.
was a
and coming to
pleasure.
the office.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
good. We're all
excited.
a little bit.
Thank you guys so much for watching. These are a few guys with the Convention Estates. If you want to find out more about that, go to conventionestates.com. Thank you guys for watching. See ya.